Hey there, new types. As you may notice, I'm pretty sick, but I wanted to get this out on schedule. Commentary is a little less animated as a result, but hopefully it's still worth your time. Today is a purple white mid range blockers list with a bit of a twist. It includes the card Awaken Power. It's a fun little build. It's pretty strong and capable of winning some tough matchups, be it aggro or the blocker mirror. I actually won a recent locals playing into aggro, then two blue white blockers lists. Shout out to my local game stores and community of players who allow me to record this footage for all of you. It wouldn't be possible without them. As always, stay tuned after the match to get a better breakdown of the deck, or just skip ahead if that's all you care about. I don't really mind. That said, let's get this battle underway. He opts to go second, so I am going first. He looks at his hand and Snap keeps that, so that's a little concerning. I open up a Gusian, Lefrith, First Form, and the Archangel. It is a hand that is worth keeping, so I also shield up and get ready to lead us off in the games. Draw Justice, pass my turn. He opens up with an Overflowing Affection. Pitches a Justice, so it still could be anything at this point. I draw Rick Diaz and pass my turn. My opponent plays down a Rick Diaz, passes his turn. I drew another Gusian, which makes 3 in my hand. And I opt to respond to his Rick Diaz with my own Ricky Diaz. Pretty easy play, very typical blockers matchup. Now here's where he reveals his second color to me, which is blue. He plays a Show Resolve, but that also allows me to get a leg up on the board. Having the ability to do so in hand means I am definitely seizing it. I take a swing at his EX base. He opts to actually let me have it, which is interesting. Probably the right play, though. I drop on the fifth and the first form and pass my turn. Get myself off to a pretty solid board start. I do have to worry about Amuro, but instead he plays Rick Diaz and Elfrith, which is very okay for me given my hand. I drew an Awakened Power here. So I play out the Gusian, deal 1 damage to my first form and 1 damage to his Lefrith, which means my first form's active. It kills anything that blocks it. So I get to draw a card, I get to remove a body. Honestly, that's fine, especially since I didn't have to use a pilot to do so. I leave the 1 resource up because I mostly have to, but this does let him wonder if I have another play. We trade Rick Diaz, and I take a swing with my Lefrith. He actually decides not to block it, so I take a shield off of him. He might have been fearing a Mika. I've passed the turn. He plays out a Launcher Strike and a Lefrith. And stays back, once again trying to rebuild his board. Given that I have so many Gusians in hand, I do opt to be pretty aggressive with what I have out. I am in that stage of the game where I can ping some blockers. I do have a Fatal Strike in hand, so this influences my control of the board once again. Using it to take out his Lefrith. And then I take a swing at his shields with my Gusion. He opts to block with his launcher strike, which allows me to play out my second Gusion in hand and ping down the launcher strike. My opponent plays a Gundam and a Rick Diaz. Passes the turn after that. Gives me a signal that he doesn't have an Amuro in hand just yet. So I have 7 resources here. I just counted out. I did have another Gusion in hand. So once again, I'm still being fairly aggressive here. It doesn't really matter if he trades at this point. I need bodies off the board for him. So I take out 1, and then I take a swing with my other Gusion. And then I take a swing with my Lefrith. And this one he does block. And he plays a naval bombardment, which gives his Rick Diaz an +2 AP. Still takes the 2 damage, and I finish it off with another Gusion. Once again, I'm just trying to manage his board, so I play a Lefrith. I have 2 Gusions up. And I have the 1 resource up, which, again, I kind of try to bluff having an unforeseen. Plays a Show of Resolve. An Overflowing Affection. At this point now, I am assuming he's got at least one or 2 pilots in hand. He pitches a Naval Bombardment. And I just want to double check what Naval Bombardment does, what the burst effect was specifically. Just in case, he's got another in his shield area. So he actually uses his EX resource and plays out Nail Strike. No pilot. I drew an Overflowing Affection. So my game plan here was actually use that Awakened Power to play the other Gusion out from my graveyard. However, I ended up drawing a Gusion in hand, so I got to save some resources by dumping it and just playing out the Gusion for normal cost. My opponent's about to get blindsided by the 4th Gusion, and yet no pilots, by the way. I take a swing, get a shield, take another swing, and this time he blocks it, takes out a Gusion. Yeah, I ping out his Hail Strike with the 4th Gusion. Again, I'm being pretty aggressive here, so I take a swing with my Lefrith. And I decide I do want to see a little bit, I want to see a new card, so I play out my Archangel, get the card from my shields, and restand my Gusion. He's at a point where I want him to be at, especially with 2 shields, and a board that is a little bit behind in numbers. Plays out a Freedom and a Kira on top of it. -2 on my Gusion. He takes a bit of time to decide what the threat is on the field, if he wants to get rid of Lefrith or not, but he decides that the Archangel is the threat to get rid of, because it does allow me to do a lot of, shenanigans like restanding my Gusions and other blockers. He takes a swing at my Lefrith, and I just let that that go after confirming what the -AP on the Gusions were. It's basically free poke damage. I don't think he also wanted to give me a pilot by chance. Plays out of the Frith, which that Fatal Strike is looking really good in my hand. So I drew a Barbatos here, but I drop down that Fatal Strike and take a swing at the shield. He hits an Archangel, which is very lucky for him. It does force me to commit both of my Gusians to taking it out. Fortunately, I have a Justice in hand, so I'm just building up a very fat board. 5 to his 2 units. I really should have played the Barbatos in my hand, most likely, but I didn't. Mostly because at this point, I didn't have a way to turn it on, but honestly, as a 3-2 body, that should have been enough. I definitely, I think I overvalued the draw on it, but being at 4 cards, I wanted the draw if I could. He plays a Nail Argama out, taps down my blocker, and then he plays an Amur out and taps down my Justice. Suddenly not looking as good for me, especially with that base in play. He takes out my Justice for only 3 damage on to his Freedom, and then takes out a Gusian for another 3. Plays out a Justice of his own, which leaves him with a blocker. Makes this a bit tough. Now I am at a point where I know I have to start trading things into his guys in order to get through things. So I actually decide I'm going to go send the Gusian at the Gundam, because it's very unlikely he blocks it, which allows me to guarantee 2 swings with units into it. I take a swing with the Phantom and get rid of the Gundam on board. I play out the Justice, get myself another Phantom token, and at this point I did have the Ryusei go, so I play down the Barbatos, and then I get to play the Ryusei go, ping my first form, make it a somewhat of a threat, and draw an Ale Strike. I do discard that because I have another 2 in hand already. However, because I haven't seen a pilot by now, I think my opponent was also assuming I may have had one, so I take this opportunity with my single resource up to take a swing and see if he's going to block my Lefrith. Unfortunately, he does. So betting on the fact that I don't have a pilot actually is what happened. And very pilot light, but I am now hoping that maybe the last half of my deck will finally give me a pilot. He plays a Justice and a Phantom token out. Taps down my my own Phantom. Opponent's doing a bit of combat math in his head. Realizes he did mess up a little bit and wants to change his resting target with to the Justice. He does play out a Real Obama, taps down my Phantom, swings with his Justice into my Justice, leaves his up with 1 HP. And swings in with the Phantom token. Just doing some board clear, but I happen to draw the Kira, which is all I needed to Kira, and then Ale Strike bounce the damaged Freedom. I get to swing with his base, and then I swing with the first form, and I get the GGs. All right, well, there's that, and stay tuned for the deck profile. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed that battle. I'm going to keep this a little brief because I am sick, so I don't want to ramble on throughout all of that. This is a pretty standard white purple blockers style list. It has sources of ping. It relies on barbatos to get you some card draw, a little bit of card filtering with overflowing affection. It's got fatal strike, but the main card that kind of might stand out to you is the awakened power, and I'll just get right into it so I'm not wasting anyone's time here. It's a pretty effective card. The main purpose of it is to bring back things like the first form, or the Gusian, or the Ale Strike, or the Perfect Strike. And you'll find that like having that, it allows you to play it a little bit more loose, especially with the first form, where you can go like turn 2 first form and then ping it with the Ryusei Go, and just swing as a 3/1, either breaking the EX base or getting blocked and taking something out, but drawing a card. Allows you to kind of keep the gas early on in the game and not feel too bad about it. It also allows you to get a lot of value out of things like the Gusian. You'll find, if as you may have seen in that last match, Gusian is an all-star card. It allows for some very crazy trades, a lot of trading up, a lot of value. Gusian tends to block things really well and also allows me to break shields, sometimes break bases, and usually the card value just for a Gusian without a pilot is usually a 2 or 3 for 1, and you can't really complain about that. Now, I mean, the pilot suite is very obvious. You have Kira, which is really good value, probably the best white pilot you can have. And then Mika is another really strong pilot, just helping with that ping damage. Justice isn't here as a 4 because this deck does suffer a little bit from card advantage, card draw. There's basically only card filtering and not as many burst effects as one would like. So a lot of this deck is about playing and getting as much card value out of your cards as possible. Only 2 bases because I don't really like the white bases or the purple bases. I think Archangel is one of the better white bases. In the right deck, Argama is pretty strong. But in this deck, you're actually wanting to play your base. How do I put this? With good intention. Like, you want to get value off of it. You want it to generally be doing something or pose a threat that isn't just burst and then does nothing. So list is fairly tight. I think that obviously you could probably change the list up, remove Awakened Power, remove Perfect Strike, and you have 5 free slots right there. That could be either more bases, it could be striker packs, it could be more fatal strikes, even the Freedom Gundam, right? So otherwise, there's not a whole lot too special here. So I'll leave you with that, and I will be uploading another match with this deck, the actual finals match of that locals. Very intense match. We went, I think, we were the final match, so it went very long. It's going to be a longer video for sure, but it's got a lot of good interactions that I think people can definitely learn from, and I look forward to doing a proper commentary on it. And yeah, you know what? That's it. I'll catch you guys in the next one.